about President Kennedy's assassination, he returned to the White House. One of his first calls was to former Eisenhower press secretary Jim Haggerty shortly after 2 p.m. on November 27th. President Johnson and Mr. Haggerty discussed the address and an invitation. Former Eisenhower Treasury Secretary Robert Anderson, whom LBJ frequently consults, is mentioned.
I'm very much in your debt and grateful to you.
I'm in your debt, sir. You don't have to do that. That was a fine talk to Congress today.
Well, they were very good to me on both sides, I thought, and I appreciate it.
Well, as I say, God bless. Anything I can do to help any of your staff, I most certainly would be.
Come in the first time you're down here, will you?
Anytime you say it.
Well, I'll just got this one by me now, and I don't want you to make a special trip. But when you're here, I want you to come in and just chew the rag a little bit.
Anytime you say.
I had Bob Anderson in, and the general, and
yes, I know.
You saw the prudence and the thrift and the dollar's value for a dollar spent and so forth. And I thought that we got some. We had a pretty good statement.
Yes,
I want all the help of all Americans, and particularly yours, because I've been an admirer a long time.
Well, I'm a great admirer of yours, and wherever I can help any of your staff, I'd be more than happy to, and I wouldn't presume to be of help to you, but if I can,
yes,
I will.
You certainly can, and I won't see you the first time you're here.
All right, sir. Well, whenever your people say, I come down anytime.
Okay, well, I'll be in touch with you.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
President Johnson calls Los Angeles Times publisher Otis Chandler on November 27th. LBJ thanks Mr. Chandler for his support, and they talk about the president's address to Congress. There's also reference to the heart attack LBJ suffered in 1955.
Otis?
Hi, Mr. President. How are you?
Fine. You practiced up on your marksmanship any?
No, it's still not very good.
I want to thank you very much for your little note and tell you I've been kind of busy since I last saw you, but I enjoyed being with you so much, and I'm so grateful for your coming down and our having a chance to be together, and I'm looking for you for all the help that you can give me in the next few days.
We'll do everything we can, and congratulations on what I thought was a magnificent performance this morning.
Well, I did the best I could.
I thought it was just exceptional, really.
Bob Anderson, General Eisenhower did say that they're glad we were talking about economy and prudence and watching the dollar and a few things, and I thought the stock exchange, that's off the record, of course, but I thought the stock exchange was mighty
was wonderful.
fair to us yesterday. Maybe we can...
Right. And how are you feeling? All right?
Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better.
I was awfully worried that first report that you'd had another little heart flutter there right after the president was assassinated. And
Not at all. I never had... All they did is just put me on the bottom of the car face down.
Yeah.
And some reporter, I guess, saw me with my hand, and they were pretty excited about that time, but
right.
I never felt better in my life, and I was up till 2:30 this morning on this speech.
Well, great job, and we'll do everything we can.
Give your wife my regards, and I'll be seeing you, and let me know anytime you come east.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
2:30 p.m., November 27th. President Johnson calls Washington Post editor Russell Wiggins to thank him for his support. There are references to LBJ's speech to Congress and to the late Washington Post publisher Phil Graham, who committed suicide earlier in 1963.
I wanted to tell you these have been pretty trying days, and I'm awfully grateful for your good approach and your editorial and all of the help that you've been giving me, and I never needed it as much in my life. I probably could get by a lot better and easier if Phil is here, but he's not, so I'm going to have some help and lean on you and tell me anything you think I need to know.
Well, you're marvelous to call, and I haven't bothered you because I knew you'd call me if you wanted anything, and I just wish to say, Mr. President, that nobody could have delivered that speech any better. Nobody could have said things that are more right, correct, and proper. Nobody could have said them in a better way. It is just absolutely perfect, and not a word in it could have been changed except to its disadvantage. It was a great, great good beginning.
Well, we struggled with it till 2:30, and I'm not, that's not my field, but I used to have Phil, and I used to have Mr. Rayburn, and I used to have a president, and I had a good many people I could check with. It looks like my crowd's kind of thinning out, and not many of us left, so we're going to have to stay a little closer together.
Well, it's so nice of you to call, and you call me. I'm at your service whenever, any hour of the night or day, whenever there's anything I can do. this newspaper can do to further the great cause in which you've embarked, you let us know.
Well, we've got a program we've got to carry out for the good of the world, and we're going to do it. With God's help and yours, why, we'll get it done. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
President Johnson gets a call from Cleveland Press editor Louis Seltzer at 2:45 p.m., November 27, 1963. They talk about LBJ's address that day to Congress.
I hope I did not intrude on some urgent matter.
Not at all. I'm just sitting here talking to Houston Hart of the Hart-Hanks papers in Texas and getting ready to see the Prince of Cambodia and the Assistant Secretary of State. I'm mighty glad you called.
Well, now, here is the reason I am calling, and if you've got just 1 minute, I'll try to express myself as clearly as I can. In my time, which covers a half of a century and a good number of presidents, I, along with everybody else, have heard presidents talk under a great number of circumstances, some of them trying, some of them in crisis. But this noon I determined that I was going to go out to my home and sit quietly with Marion and listen to you, because I had the intuitive feeling that by the manner in which you did this and what you said, that you were going to create a very lasting impression one way or the other on the American people. Now, the reason I picked this telephone up to call you is that I do not remember in all of my time when any president of the United States, so recently assuming his heavy responsibility, did so impressive and tremendous a job as you did just a few moments ago, and I could not resist the temptation of calling you. That's the sum total of my call.
You don't know how much strength that gives me, not only because of my high regard for you, but I was up till 2:30 this morning, and I tried so hard to pay just tribute and still let the country know that I had some thoughts of my own, and that we were going to be prudent, frugal, progressive people, but we were going to be in charge.
Well, I think, Mr. President, you did. You accomplished all of those things from the moment you walked down the aisle to the rostrum, all through your address, and on the way out, including your quick look up at Mrs. Johnson and your daughters in the balcony, all the way through. I think you did one of the most extraordinarily earnest and impressive jobs I have ever seen, and the image that you succeeded in driving through the screen today all over America, in my judgment, was wonderful for the country and good for you.
Well, I hope it works out that way, because all I want to do is to try to do a good job for all America and all people, regardless of their politics or their race or their religion or anything else. I just want to all be Americans. I think we've got too much hate, too much division, too much partisanship, and I'm glad we've got men like you, and I'll be calling on you, and any time you think that I need a little straightening out, please sit down and write me frankly, because you've been my friend for a good many years.
Well, Mr. President, I appreciate that, and I just want to reiterate once again, just as earnestly as I can, and at the same time, even under the trying circumstances, to hope that you and your family have a nice Thanksgiving. I just want to say that in 1/2 hour today, you did for the United States of America at a very critical job, something that I did not, 3 hours ago, I thought you had probably one of the most difficult challenges any human being ever faced, and I think you did it with just superb and just magnificent way, and I think that you did, again, I say, a great service for this country, and I think the image that you created for yourself is going to last for all time.
Thank you, Louis, so much, and I'll be seeing you, and call me when you come to town.
You bet I will, and good luck to you all the way down.
Goodbye.
President Johnson's speech to a joint session of Congress is also the topic of a call by LBJ to Gene Pulliam, publisher of the Indianapolis Star and the Arizona Republic. This conversation takes place at 3:25 p.m., November 27th.
I just wanted to tell you I was thinking of you, and I've had some trials and tribulations these last few days, but I want to thank you for your friendship and all you've done for me, and I hope it's the first time you're this way we get together.
I wrote you a letter. You won't get it. I asked Reedy to get it to you. I said, you know you've always had my heart in my hand. And you still do.
Know that, Jan, and I appreciate it very much.
God bless you. You made a wonderful speech today. It was absolutely wonderful.
I was thinking of you when I talked about thrift and frugality.
But you are.
God bless you.
Nice to call. I appreciate it more than I can tell you.
To my regards, your son.
I'll do that.
Thank
you so much for calling.
Thank you.
The Lyndon Johnson Library in Austin, Texas, began releasing the LBJ tapes to the public in 1993. In all, over 400 hours of President Johnson's phone conversations from November 1963 through March 1966, and a limited number through 1968 are now available to the public.